Hello and welcome to today's video. So this time we're going to be looking at the first half of my vintage British publishers. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and let's take a look. Okay then, so we're starting off with Ace books, but this is, as I said, these are all the British editions. This isn't the American Ace books that you might be familiar with. This is their British counterpart, and quite a dramatic one to begin with. Vernon does the cover art, and this looks like it's a Second World War escape story, which was very, very popular as a genre when this book was published, which was, I wonder if it is dated. Yeah, Ace Books 1957. So there was a very, very successful escape book called Colditz by Pat Reed, and that sort of started, that was such a massive bestseller that sort of started a bit of an escape books craze in effect, and every publisher under the sun wanted to have a few escape books in the hope of having another sort of Colditz success story. I don't know if any of them really had that. There was like The Wooden Horse and the famous The Great Escape by Paul Brickell, but there weren't that many others that were in the same sort of league as Colditz, but I love them all the same. Dylan Thomas here, Dylan Thomas in America, and they're really quite distinctive jackets on these early Ace books. They don't often turn up in nice condition, in all honesty, but look at that, like it's already had five printings by the time that this one actually came out in April 1958. Lovely jacket that there's no artist signature, but I'm tempted to say it might be Taylor or Rex is the ones I'm thinking of there. Listen, Comrades, El Campesino, a horrifying account of life and death in the Soviet Union. Oh dear. This one's certainly a bit more the worse for wear. But I'm going through these looking for any second-hand pencil markings, any annotations, anything that might need re-gluing, pages turned over, that sort of thing. That was actually the top of the spine. I think it's actually been glued at some point, so I'm just going to leave that as is. Now, apologies that there was no new video from me last Saturday. Since the channel started, that's the first time I've actually missed an episode, and that was because I caught COVID, unfortunately, and I tested positive as I filmed this last Sunday, so only 6 days ago, so I'm pretty much over the worst of it now, but you might detect a little bit of horsiness in my mouth and in the way that I sound, and apologies for that, but I am almost over it, so hopefully normal service will be resumed. I have of course got my other channel, so if you're ever stuck for something to watch, there are other cleaning videos over on that one as well, on my main channel. That was actually one of the ones that I got in that lot from 2 weeks ago, which was the military lot, so that one I know has already been done because it was a new edition. Not so sure about this one, however. Turned over pages. What's quite interesting with this, and you don't look at the different cut of the paper, so the pages aren't uniform at the bottom, they're a bit all over the place, and that is because Ace weren't really that great a publisher. They, the quality of their books, it wasn't bad, but it was a second tier after, say, something like Pan or Penguin, Surprised that so many of these early ones were war-related titles. This is a cover by Vernon. But we've got a real mixture of books to look at today. We've got some UK gold medals, we've got some science fiction stuff to look at. Quite a nice little selection. The Fatal Decisions, another one by Vernon. I guess by having the same cover artist, it does give the publisher a bit of an identity, doesn't it, on the shelf. And as you can see, these have all got black spines, and these would have had, see, that one's got lots of yellowing on the spine there. When they were published, they would have all been nice and bright white like that. It just shows how they've sort of aged over the years. Well, here's a nice one. Here's a bit of science fiction. Ray Bradbury, an author I very much like. This is a nice edition of the October Country. Yeah, this is very nice indeed. Wonder if it's a first edition. First Ace book edition from 1961. There we are, look at that. That's very nice, isn't it? Really nice cover, that one. A beauty, you could say. And what's this? Fabienne. The Wickedness of Berlin in the 20s. A lost generation in a frenzied search for kicks. Wow. What did they get up to? Berlin sounds like a hell of a place, doesn't it? At that time. And then my last Ace book is this one. Streetwalker. Quite a late one. Book on the ladies of the night. Got quite a bit of Fox in here. Inside and out. But it's quite a collectible subject, ridiculously. So, you know, it's in with the collection. Quite a run of Ace books. I never had any idea that I had quite so many, but I'm glad that I've got them. None of them really needed a lot of work, but they will all need, of course, the tops brushing off and also the covers being polished. But we're going to do my run of Arrow books next, and this is Arrow number 370. I don't believe these are all first editions. I think I've got quite a few reprints in here. Cover by Sheldon. What a jacket. Don't actually remember getting this one, but it is a nice vintage copy of it. I think it's one that I've had for a long time, because I don't really collect Arrow, but some have just sort of fallen my way. You know how it is. Yeah, look at this. Look, first Arrow was 1954, but this one is from 1962. So I don't mind that. This is a war-related one, Air Commando. This probably is an original printing or a very early one. You can sort of tell by the feel of it. Now this one was in with the books that I picked up recently, the military lot. This is a beautiful Second World War escape story. Really, really nice. Very pleased to have that. Absolute giant of a book. Fighter Pilot. I think this one might have also been part of that collection as well. In which case, it's already been done. Because that military collection, most of it has already been filed away now in my main collection. So few got through. Martin Lindsay. Yeah, that's all right. Thank you, Nelson. Nancy Spain. Yeah, they're all pretty much okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to split these into a few piles, and I'm going to give them a brush down now. So those Ace books split quite nicely into 3. I've got my my soft shoe brush here. I say soft, it's still good enough to get the dust off the top, but it's definitely not going to harm the books. Here we go. So I've been back filming for a couple of days, and the first video that I filmed, which is going to go up on my other channel, is a fantastic lot of vintage science fiction from 1970. It's a really amazing video, that one. And the main highlight about that science fiction collection was that the books were absolutely pristine. I just couldn't believe how nice they were. So do check that video out because it's a good one. Okay, and then we'll get these a few arrow ones done. Lots and lots of dust coming off these. That edition of Dracula, for example, I know I've had that, well, probably since I was a teenager, I reckon, so. There we are, that's the first pile of 3 done. Carrying on with the arrows now. A.J. Bevan, Zarak Khan. That's a nice jacket, isn't it? Wow. Okay, this is a movie tie-in as portrayed by Victor Mature in the stirring film. It's got a little £1 in the corner there, so we'll rub that out. Had a couple of copies of this one, Kings of the Road, quite nice there. I believe that's a Jaguar on the front, or maybe a Bugatti. I'm no expert. The Racer, another car related one. Cool. So this is a juvenile delinquent title, Too Late to Mend. A story of teenage thuggery in London's East End. These have got their own fans. They're quite collectible as a genre. Is juvenile delinquency, JD Books as they're called. 1958. This one's certainly not ideal condition wise. I was just wondering about the top and bottom of the spines, but yeah, I'm just going to put a slither of glue into the bottom of that spine because it is quite a collectible book, this one. I should just be able to get a tiny little bit of glue in the bottom, just to stop it getting caught. Just in there, you see where it's come away? The old 1950s glues sort of had it now, sadly. There we are. Just to stop it getting any worse, really, you know, and part of what I do here is almost preventative as well as remedial. You know, I'm sorting out the problems that are there, but also sometimes it's stopping a book getting in any worse condition. Now this one was also in the lot that I got last week, and when I compared the two, I couldn't really see which one was better. I think the one that I already had, believe it or not, although this one's got a very faint price in the corner here, so Now, this is the first of a couple of Dennis Wheatleys that I've got in Arrow, and virtually his entire output got published by Arrow, and I wouldn't want to get it all, but there's probably at least a dozen books that I would like to get, and you just don't see them around in nice condition anymore like you used to. They used to be everywhere, and they've just seemed to have dried up. But here is a very, very nice edition of Haunting a Toby Jug. First paperback from 1959. One of his sort of supernatural titles, sort of this. He was very interested into like Satanism and things like that. And here's another one, The Island Where Time Stands Still. My all-time favourite Dennis Wheatley is one called Gunmen, Gallants and Ghosts. And that's like a little, it's like short stories. It's a selection across all the different sorts of genres that Dennis Wheatley wrote in. And it's really excellent. I'd love to get the Arrow first of that one, but it just doesn't seem to turn up very often. There we are, but that's quite nice. Another slim little volume. It's the Bram Stoker. Look at that. The Lady of the Shroud. Very thin little one. It's a reprint again. Nice though, that, isn't it? Nice jacket. Yeah. Forgot I had that one. Right, so that's all the Arrow books. Now we're on to the British Beacon books. So this is the British ones, not the American publisher. But this is a great one to start with, and this is by far the most collectible of the British Beacon books. It's the British copy of The Body Snatchers, famous book that became the famous film. And this is quite collectible, this one. I've had a couple of copies through my hands over the years. I believe generally a copy like that would probably go for about £25, something like that. It's quite a scarce little one. The rest of the Beacon books are fairly cheap, with the exception of one, which was, I'm not sure if I've got it with my Churchill collection. It's Savrola by Winston Churchill. It was the only sort of book of fiction he ever wrote, and that came out as a Beacon in the 1950s, and that might go for about £8, something like that. The rest of these are fairly cheap and cheerful. This one's a little bit the worse for wear compared to some that we've been having a look at here, but I don't mind. So it's got a 30p in pen there, but it's also got these pencil marks down the side, which we can actually, should be able to get those off. Okay. Leopard in My Lap, Michaela Dennis. Look at that. You'd be careful, wouldn't you, if you had a leopard in your lap like that? Let's be honest. I don't care how experienced you were. I'm just saying. You'd be taking it quite steady. Jungle Road to Tokyo. Lieutenant General L. Eichenberger. A vivid account of war in the Pacific. That was pretty awful, wasn't it? Now this one has come away a little bit. You can just see the glue is just not holding. So I should be able to get my glue stick just along that row there without too much trouble. And we'll glue that back in. So let me just squish this glue around a little bit. Here we are. That's absolutely fine. It just keeps that one nice. Piece of cake. Australian pilot tells his vivid story. Lovely. The 27th day. This is quite worn, this one. Quite worn. Yeah, it's very much just a filler, I'm afraid, but don't really see Beacon books like that anymore. I mean, you just don't. Very, very scarce. Not something I'd be like looking for all the time on eBay or anything like that, but this is by, a known author, Lawrence van der Post. Flamingo Feather, this must be an early one. So it's actually quite a big name for Beacon books. Got a little 150 inside there. Let's take that out. That's lovely. Best foot forward. What a great cover that is, isn't it? What a great use of perspective. I wonder who the artist was. It looks like it was down there, but it's just been trimmed off. But that's a very nice jacket indeed. What a time it was for British book production, wasn't it? Compared to the lame typographical covers that we get today. That just really is super, that. And the last beacon is this one. Oh no, this is a Cassell. So this is, that was all the beacons. This is a Cassell one. Rape of Czechoslovakia. This really is an oddity. It's the only one I've got. Don't know where this one turned up. Early Cassell paperback, 1968. It's a paperback original. How unusual. Must have turned up in a collection somewhere. So that's the second pile anyway. So let's give these a brush down. So we'll do the arrows first. If I split them into 3 piles again, I think we'll just even those out a little bit better, like so. There we are. Give them all a brush with the shoe brush. Yeah, so I've split the my British paperbacks into 2 parts. So I'll dig out the second parts for next week, and I'll film those. So that'll be all the publishers from Hodder onwards. So we've got the Hodder ones to do today, so it'll be all the publishers from there to the end of the alphabet. And great news, my daughter's now moved out this weekend into her new home, which means the office is back, which means I've now got access to my large format books. That's my hardbacks and my British annuals and things like that. So I'm very, very much looking forward to doing some episodes on those rather than just paperbacks, because they've been sadly neglected, and there's a few that need some work for sure. Okay, let's give these beacons a brush. I think that's okay. that's pile number 2 done. Now we've got one more pile to do, but it's got some really groovy stuff in, so let's get that out. Okay, so we're starting off with a few compact books. Now, Compact are one of those publishers which I would love to get some more, because they're pretty high quality, and they did a lot of science fiction amongst other things, but SF was one of their things, and Michael Moorcock had quite a bit published by these guys. That's a really nice one, actually, but they don't seem to turn up. Here is in fact a Moorcock, Twilight Man. There he is, very young there, isn't he? He's 26, and now the editor of New Worlds. Excellent. Hilary Brand, Strictly Wild. These are beauty, actually. Very, very nice. But that's it. That's the only 3 sort of compact books I've got. So I would like to get some more of those. Now, these are gold medal books, but they're the British gold medals, so you don't see these that often. And they're probably far, far scarcer than the American editions. You tell the British because they got like the British price there, 2 shillings. Often they've got the same cover art, but not always. This is number 112. Yeah, published in the UK by arrangement with full set. No other printing history on that one. Escape to Love, Edward S. Aarons. This is number 205. You see 2 shillings there down the bottom. And once again, although this isn't a publisher I've tried to track down, I've never ever turned them down when I've come across them, because they're very collectible, and they're very nice books to have. They do a lot of crime. There's a little bit of SF. Some sensationalist novels as well, sort of sleaze, softcore sleaze, a little bit of it all really. But they've got some good authors in here, and certain titles are quite collectible. These are nice copies though, aren't they? This one's got some page edge browning, but very, very nice copies, these. Cheaters. 408. Some dust in it. As I said, the only real way to tell is the British cover price there, as opposed to the cents. These 2 shillings, 25 cents in America. Mike Avallone. That's cool, isn't it? Meanwhile, back at the morgue. Star Trap. They're gorgeous, aren't they? So there, I guess that would have been either the 4 square number or a 25 cents price, but it's just been like whited out. They put the British price over there for the British edition. I suppose if you're a big a gold medal collector, you'd want to pick up these British variants, wouldn't you? Although you'd have a bit of a job on your hands. That's a great one there. Look, Day Keen. Dead Dolls Don't Talk. What a beauty. And there, the 2 and 6 has probably just gone over the American price. A little bit of glue on the spine there. I'm making sort of mental notes of these as we go along. This is one I've had for ages. I think it's quite common in actual fact. Robert Bloch, Atoms and Evil, because I see it around a lot. Oh, look at that, my copy's misprinted. I just leave that folded in. a victim of the time that it was put together. So that's about half the stack, so let's give these a brush off. So we'll put them into some little piles here. There we are, that'll be alright. Pop those over there. Do these compacts first. Nice, those are pretty clean. Okay, that's cool. Okay. So, last little batch here, we got the Robert Prather Whaling Frail. It's a slightly later British gold medals. This is reprinted 1963. I think this is one that I've had for ages. It's much the worse for wear, that one. Same author, The Peddler. This one's been through the second-hand system. And the last one of the British gold medals, Mary Leinster. I don't think they put quite enough stamps in, do you? Look, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the front. One on the back cover, 6, 7. 7 stamps. I mean, that's excessive, isn't it? Let's be honest. Now we got my Hodders. A few sort of 50s war titles to begin with. And these are ever so slightly wider than a normal book, ever so slightly, more like they're verging on digest size, almost. This is one that I got recently, so I know this one's okay. Remember the brilliant cover. The other side. Okay. Life on Other Worlds. So not science fiction, but an attempt to speculate on life on other worlds. So it's John Christopher, he's an author I like. These are the slightly later ones now. Cloud on Silver. So when was this then? Mid-60s? Hodder paperback 1966. First printed in 64. Here's another one. Caves of Night, very, very similar. Barbosa did the cover artwork on that one and on that one. So Barbosa, he did the cover art on the original George MacDonald Fraser hardback dust jackets. Now look at this, look at the look at all that. And it's all in pen. Oh dear. Someone's worked out a few recipes in the back of that one, but apart from that, it's all right. And the last one, another John Christopher, the Possessors. Yeah, this is a reprint, 1967. Okay, well that's cool. So let's give these a brush down. Now I'm gonna, because these are a bit wider, I'm gonna do those separately because these sort of fit in the hand a bit better. Yeah, that's them cleaned. Yeah, so these were a little bit wider, so do these all together. Lovely. There we go. One more here. Great. Lovely. So that's them all gone through and brushed. Now I just need to give them all a nice polish. Okay, so onto the polishing stage. So I've got a clean bit of duster. That was the agony from last week's science fiction books. And I've got my trusty Mr. Sheen here. I'm just going to spray the corner. And we'll work our way through all these books now. And just make sure any sort of surface dirt and grime that may have collected over the many years that they've been in my collection is brought to task. Some of these might need a little bit more than others. had a lot of cigarette staining because the spine was very, very yellow, and as I've put my cloth over it to lighten that up a bit, it's picked up lots and lots of like nicotine-y. Look at that. Look at that. That's what that is. That's nicotine. I think this Ray Bradbury gets the award for cover of the episode. Let's have a look at that one last time. Look at that. Very, very good indeed. Lovely. Right. That's the first pile done. Quite scarce, this one. Probably not a fortune to buy or anything, you know, but certainly a collectible title. Really nice jacket, that one. This is this Bram Stoker. A little bit of a water ripple in this one, but I don't mind because it's really nice, and a really nice edition. Lovely. That's the second snap done. Absolutely beautiful, those two compacts. Start with the gold medals now. Having to make the odd cut in the videos here because afraid I keep coughing, so this last section has been quite quiet with me not yabbering on much. Hope you don't mind this one time. Alright, that's the first half done. Last few now, so thanks for sticking with me today. Once again, apologies for my slightly gruff voice, but hopefully I'm over the worst of the COVID and things will start to turn back to normal on both channels as soon as possible. Thanks as always for watching today. Thanks to my channel members and Patreon supporters. If you want to join the channel through YouTube, you just need to go over to my other channel and hit the memberships button there. I don't think it's worth having two separate memberships at the moment. And you can see me over on Patreon at patreon.com. Just look up Jules Burt, JULESBURT, and you'll find me. And so there's lots and lots of this sort of video over on my other channels. So if you've not already checked that one out, please do. And if I do have an odd break now and again, for whatever reason, there's a mine of stuff over there for you to dig into. Now, if you're not already subscribed, do please hit that subscribe button. Help grow the channel. As I said, next week we're going to be doing the second part of my miscellaneous British paperbacks. There's some more cool stuff to go through. But I hope this has been an enjoyable and relaxing hour, or just under probably an hour, of book cleaning for you today. To get these last couple done. Yeah, thank you very much for watching today. I have enjoyed going through these. They've been absolutely fantastic, and a lot of these I hadn't seen in ages, so that was always good. But yeah, I shall look forward to seeing you next Saturday when we do part 2. Brilliant. Bye.